Let me ask you about another issue, of course. The head of the IMO touched upon it. He said the scourge of piracy. This is a major issue, a major responsibility you all face. What's the best way to deal with it, Peter?
I think the best way is to think about the fact that it isn't piracy, it's kidnapping. That's what it is. And so you have to follow best practices. It's all been laid out. I encourage everyone to go to www.saveourseafarers.com. You'll see some great video, and it actually brings the whole thing to light. And I think the biggest problem is that it hasn't come to light. But where we're able to do it, we divert our tankers, we hug the coasts, and we put on armed guards where we are allowed to by our customers. You have to do everything you can.
Tor.
I don't think I have more to add to it. We have seen this problem before in Malacca, of course. It went away there in the end, but it's a tough problem to deal with. And I think armed guards is, of course, a physical way to hindrance it, but it's a more fundamental problem where you probably could benefit from spending some time and some money in these nations where you effectively comes from to go to the fundamental of the problems. Because
I really hope that UN will take this seriously and try to go in and solve the root cause. But I do understand that they are reluctant. And in the meantime, we just have to do what Peter is saying. And I think it's we have to try to make it more costly to be a pirate than the benefit on the other side. And it's a hard call. And we're following all the best practices. And we do also put armed guards in certain circumstances.
I think the only way is if you get Somalia organized. That's a pretty tough challenge with all the warlords and turbulence, because as long as it's a free-for-all and they can do what they want, it's extremely difficult to solve the problem. And people forget how big the ocean is. I mean, you can put down the Coast Guard ships there with guns and what have you, and try to have surveillance on the ocean as big as it is. It's extremely difficult.
But it's a very serious situation because every time we ratchet it up by adding armed guards, then they ratchet it up. And so this is not anything that's going away anytime soon. So all of us spend a lot of time on this.
Of course, Somalia is one of the downsides of, when we think about Africa, but there are a lot of upsides. I want to ask you about Africa as a real opportunity because we focused a lot on China, but the Chinese have been very smart in terms of the first mover advantage going into Africa. Yeah, Peter.
I was actually in West Africa last week. And of course, it's the continent with the biggest potential. It's 1/6 of the world's population and 2% of world GDP. Tremendous resources. They need perhaps a new business plan, better management. But money is pouring in, and I believe Africa really is the big prize the next 10 years.
I agree, but I think it's a really difficult country or continent to do business in, and China has already moved in, and we are coming after.
Tor?
I think oil will change that country and the whole continent, and you see it on West Africa now. Now you even start to develop East Africa, and you just see the kind of wealth coming into nations like Angola. It will change Africa in a very positive way, but it needs to be. As I agree with Peter, it's probably the most promising continent of them all.
Hans Christian, the banker's perspective.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're talking about the Arab Spring, and I think a lot of the world's oil and gas resources are in the Middle East and around Northern Africa, and I think that always brings surprises on the industry, and I think that's part of what creates opportunities and also the volatility especially in the tanker segment, but also other sectors.
Okay.